asked like how they died.
It's just that they're mad.
Here at home, police in Winnipeg may have stopped a serial killer. John Ball Ostermus has been charged with murder.
What? Are you next to me right now?
I'm mad at Jordan for what he had said.
Are you trying to hurt me right now?
Fuck.
She was only looking for a fling. This enraged Dover.
Paranormies is very proud to be sponsored by Don's Photo. Don's hooked us up with this brand new Sony a7S III camera that we are shooting on right now. Before we start this video, check out this quick unboxing video that we did for the camera right now.
So this camera itself will bring, I mean, tremendous amount of difference and amazing footage to the channel itself, especially for dialogue scenes. And I mean, even when we're out in dark locations, it'll just do even better than what our camera does. Our camera I think our camera only does 4K up to 30 frames per second. I think this one does 4K up to 120. So we'll be able to do 4K slow motion as well.
Yeah, here it is.
So the one big thing about this one that our camera is different is this one, the display screen flips out and moves around. So if we have the camera towards ourselves talking like vlogging style, we'll at least be able to see ourselves. Aside from that one doesn't have it, it's more just it flips up and down.
Yeah.
So that was a huge thing.
Yeah, so that'll be very helpful.
It looks amazing. I've been dying to get my hands on one of these and just hold it for so long. Which lens is this? 35mm full frame. Stats wise on it, I mean, it's gonna be a lot better than our camera.
I can't wait to play around with this thing and see what kind of cool shots that we can get, especially with our new camera slide.
Yeah, especially with the camera slide as well too. Anyway, it's gonna be really good for the channel. This is gonna be, I mean, huge. Just for, you know, a lot of people mentioned, you know, having more cameras set up in different areas where we're not wandering around, or even to be able to just have one camera on each of us. Most of the time it's either, you know, I'm in the frame the entire time or Jordan's in the frame the entire time. This way we can bounce between the two a lot more. And I think that's probably what, you know, it's gonna be used for.
Yeah, just having more cameras set up and like more of us like filming each other, or having cameras set up so like we don't really have to film each other. We can just...
You can catch something, I can catch something too. So I mean, it's gonna go a long way. So, I mean, this will be, I mean, a huge thank you to Don's, again, a camera that we've been waiting to get our hands on for so long.
Dying to get this thing forever.
Yeah, it's what we wanted when we first started. We didn't go with it. It was just, it was a little too much. Like we were already going from a Canon T3i to the Nikon. I mean, it was a huge jump already. So, I mean, and we noticed that, you know, the production value that we were able to bring to the channel grew so much. So we figured, you know, it was, as soon as we got this camera, we already knew that we needed another one of that caliber or better. And we just, you know, we're still paying this one off. So to have this one sponsored from Don's is amazing. And I mean, we can't even express how, you know, how much it means to us. So another, you know, big thank you to Don's. And if you want to go get camera gear yourself, again, go to Don's. You know, they've helped us out so much. Get any kind of camera gear you want. They'll ship it out to you. They do have pay-bright financing for, you know, those who qualify. It's just, it's such a good option if you really want to take things seriously with, you know, making videos. Like, you know,
why not? Like, 'cause we're just like regular people, and we just decided to, you know, go for it. And you know, here we are doing what we do, and there's no reason you can't do it either. So hit up Don's for anything that you need to get started on your own journey. And
we'll continue this after we get the battery charged.
Once again, guys, if you want to get started on your own YouTube journey or your streaming journey, Dawn's has everything you need, from cameras to lights to mics, camera bags, basically everything that you could possibly ask for. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, they will ship to you, and they have PayRite if you have a bigger order. So don't wait, hit the link in the description and get started on making your dream a reality today. A journal is a person's completely unaltered voice. The pen with which he writes serves as a spiritual conduit into the deepest corners of his being. Every secret of a writer's soul, every experience of his life, every quality of his mind is written with wholehearted honesty within the pages of his journal. A killer who has remained nameless and faceless has been a legend passed down Winnipeg's homeless community for at least a century. The killer is said to be an affluent man who appears harmless and is even helpful at first. He usually offers a meal and a ride to those who walk the streets of Winnipeg. However, after they hop into this Good Samaritan's car, they're never seen again. During the 1920s, there was a large spike in missing homeless people in Winnipeg, which gave birth to the legend of this Good Samaritan killer. However, in those days, data wasn't easily as kept as it is today, and the Good Samaritan killer was never caught. Everyone who knew these missing homeless people from the street simply assumed that they had gone back to live with family or hopped a train to go somewhere else. After all, Winnipeg was and still is Canada's main railway hub, and anyone could get anywhere by train. What was simply an urban legend for nearly a century became a horrifying reality, and the dangerous life of the homeless had taken an even more fatal turn. Around the year 2014, homeless people began to go missing once again at an alarming rate. There were dark rumors circulating about the nameless, faceless Good Samaritan killer making his return. Our investigation into this legend and into one of Winnipeg's most notorious hauntings led us back to a journal that we found last year at an old farmhouse.
Oh my God!
In a way that we could have never imagined. Most of the disappearances of the homeless people of the 1920s were said to have happened all around the Marlborough Hotel. At the time, the Marlborough was a brand new upscale hotel in the heart of downtown Winnipeg. Originally named the Olympia Hotel, the harbinger of its long change of sordid, unfortunate events would happen 6 months after it opened when World War I hit. The hotel was forced to close due to the financial hardship that was brought on by the Great War. And during the war, it was commandeered by the Canadian Army to house the 184th Battalion before sending them off to England. It was reopened after the war and renamed the Marlborough, after Britain's first Duke of Marlborough. However, what began as a high-class luxury hotel began to fall into more and more disrepair over the years. Ownership of the hotel switched hands multiple times over the century. Each new owner unsuccessfully tried to restore the Marlborough Hotel to its former glory. Today, the Marlborough's classic Gothic beauty still remains, but its archaic architecture is heavily overshadowed by the crime, drugs, and violence that plagues the Marlborough Hotel to this day.
I'm Danielle, and I work as an outreach mentor for vulnerables in downtown Winnipeg. I work with the vulnerables who are addicts, into drugs, gangs. We help them find jobs and apartments, just try to rehabilitate them into normal society. It can be quite dangerous. I worked in a house that before we took it and rented it and turned into like a safe house, it was a trap house. So I was actually there one of the very first nights, and somebody was trying to break in the back door with a crowbar.
How does your work affiliate with the Marlborough Hotel?
So with the people that we work with, they're drugs, booze, they don't ever hold jobs. So whenever they're in a place, they'll eventually get kicked out for various reasons, and we find them temporary placements, which is like the Marlborough Hotel and a few other ones in the city. So we'll house them there, and then we just check on them a couple times a week, make sure they have food and that they're not causing too much trouble. But I do have the one girl who disappeared from her room, and when we went into the room, she had rolled up towels by the windows and by all the doors. So it's like she disappeared from the room somehow, and nobody knows how she got out without having the towels moved. It was a little bit freaky.
The killer remained an urban legend for nearly a century until 2015, when John Paul Ostemus was arrested and charged with the serial killings of 3 homeless men.
Here at home, police in Winnipeg may have stopped a serial killer. John Paul Ostemus has been charged with murder connected to the deaths of 3 vulnerable men.
A self-proclaimed killing machine, John Paul Ostemus was a schizophrenic that spent much of his time on the streets himself.
I will walk all the time, but when there's a killer on the loose, you don't know who you're walking up behind.
It's going to bring people's awareness of how hard the streets are.
John had tried checking himself into treatment after he realized that his murderous thoughts were getting out of control, but tragically he was denied due to not having the correct papers with him. Not long after being denied is when John went on his rampage. In one instance, he stomped the head of a man sleeping in a bus shelter.
He's also charged with second-degree murder for killing Miles Monius in this bus shelter earlier this month.
And in another, his victim was found behind a dumpster in a pool of blood with a rope tied around his neck. All 3 of John's victims were found within the vicinity of the Marlborough Hotel. It took only 3 days after his final murder to be arrested after he was identified from security footage. John Paul Ostemus was found guilty on all 3 counts of murder and was sentenced to 75 years, which is the harshest sentence that anyone has received in Manitoba after the death penalty was abolished in 1976. Since John has been in prison, the age-old story of the homeless killer has faded back into legend. While doing extensive research on this urban legend, we began to develop a theory on who the original killer from the 1920s might be. A man who was from an affluent British family, who after returning from World War I, worked in downtown Winnipeg as a cab driver. He also lived only blocks away from the Marlborough Hotel. Because he lived so close to the hotel, he was known as a regular there, and eventually the hotel became one of the 2 places that he was convicted of killing. This man's name was Albert.
Probably been a long time since somebody stayed in this room.
Were you a victim?
The SLS screen just shifted over.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people have died in here and in the area. Were you a victim? Quarter? What does that say?
I'm not sure. We know how dangerous this area is. There's probably a million different things that could have happened to you. But it's up to you to be able to tell us what happened.
We believe that that urban legend is true, that a lot of homeless people went missing in the area in the 1920s or so. Do you know the person's name who is responsible?
Come here. There's something here. It's gone. It's so annoying that this thing won't record in here. We unfortunately ran into some technological issues during our stay at the Marlborough Hotel, and it's really sad because I would have loved to capture in a screen recording the entity that was peeking around the shower curtain, because I think both of us strongly believe that that is the entity that destroyed our gear later on in the night. It was right here. It was like peeking outside of this curtain. It was right here, peeking outside of the curtain.
camera focused on something on the tablet for a second.
Really?
Yeah.
There's somebody in here? That was weird. I don't know. Yeah, it did pick something up right peeking outside of that shower.
Who are we speaking with right now? Edith. What was that noise?
I don't know. That's what it.
That was weird.
That's the noise I was talking to you about. I don't understand why it's doing that. And it's not when the battery's dead, because I know the sound of the battery's dead when the battery's dead.
Very strange.
Violence.
Violence?
Okay, so are we speaking with somebody that might have... Oh. K2.
K2's.
Maybe it's going because it's too close, but... Yes, it would have been pretty violent. There is a lot of violence around this area, and I think that whatever would have happened to you would have been very violent.
Again. What is that sound?
I don't know why it's doing that. See, K2's not going off now. Soul.
There's so many words, like almost words. We're going to have to go back and...
Evil.
Evil?
Edith. We're trying to contact Albert on a location where he didn't die, but Jordan has a theory, and it's something that he's mentioned in the past, and it makes a lot of sense to me, and it's that when you commit such a high energy crime, like, you know, stabbing somebody or strangling somebody, there's a lot of residual energy left behind, and we feel like maybe it's possible that we could conjure Albert to the Marlborough Hotel, being that he was a frequent visitor here, and especially being that his most famous crime happened inside the Marlborough Hotel. We did hear about the homeless people that had gone missing a long time ago, but there's another lady we'd like to try and understand, and that would be Lottie Adams. If somebody's here, we know that, you know, Lottie wasn't killed here, but if somebody could give us some answers for her. I'm dead, it sounds like.
Do you know who Lottie Adams is?
If so, can you light this up in my hand?
Just touch out the device over there. Oh, there it goes. It just spiked.
Thank you.
Is it a high?
Tape? Tape?
Tape. Tape.
Tape, like to bind hands, maybe?
Maybe.
If your hands were taped when you were killed, can you light this up again?
Watch it? Sure. I'm watching. Oh my god!
Did it go?
It went. It said what? Manifest? Can you manifest right now?
It's at 7.
Can you manifest right now and show yourself?
Oh, what a bad stomachache. It just went again. My hand. Killed. Okay. Okay, there's
Lottie Adams was
every
killed.
single thing you're saying is that again?
And that's
is right on par with what we know. Can you tell us where? Oh my God! Can you tell us where Lottie was murdered? It said killed. Oh, now I got goosebumps. Can you tell us where Lottie was murdered? We would love to know.
my hand's shaking.
Your hand is?
Yeah.
can't believe it said watch and then it just went hang.
Hang?
Hang. This thing's
That was, I heard it.
Are you freaking out?
A little bit. No?
You're not. I know you're not freaking out, but this is very strange for us. If you understand that we can't see you. Can you show us?
Do you know who Albert is?
I did?
I did? You knew Albert?
I'm like, no.
How did you know Albert?
That's getting the most clear responses I've ever heard.
Yeah, why did you kill Lottie? While we suspect Albert to be responsible for the disappearances of the homeless people during the 1920s, his first known killing was that of Lottie Adams on Valentine's Day, 1928. Lottie Adams was a friend of Albert's wife, and she was married herself, so therefore she only remained close friends with Albert. But as their personal relationship grew, so did Albert's obsession with her. Still working as a cab driver during this time, Albert would often take Lottie on rides with him as he absolutely loved her company. However, as Albert would fall deeper and deeper into his obsession with his wife's best friend, Lottie would become more and more uncomfortable in his presence. What started out as simple flirting between friends became full-on advances in no time. Lottie told her husband that she thought that there was something off about Albert, but she was considerate of Albert's feelings and didn't want to break his heart, so she continued to see him, even though her gut feeling told her not to. Albert professed his love for Lottie one evening inside of his cab.
She was only looking for a fling.
And asked her to run away to Minneapolis with him to start a new life. She politely but firmly declined, saying that she could not leave her husband.
This enraged Albert.
Albert continued to call her in the weeks that followed, as the rejection fueled Albert's obsession with Lottie. On February 14th, 1928, Albert called Lottie one last time and begged her to hear him out. Lottie, not knowing what else to do, agreed to meet with him that night. Albert picked her up in his taxicab that evening and drove them to a secluded area in the city, where he once again asked her to run away with him to Minneapolis. Lottie once again refused, but this time, the rejection was more than Albert could take. And this time, his murderous tendencies rose up and were directed at her. Deciding that if he couldn't have her, nobody could, Albert drew a .38 revolver and shot at Lottie. However, Lottie fought back, and the shot went through the roof of the taxi. Continuing to fight for her life, Lottie struggled to get away. She bruised her knuckles, elbows, shins, and knees in the process. However, Albert was unfortunately able to get a clear shot and put a .38 caliber bullet through the left side of her head. What was most likely an act of pure rage and perhaps an attempt to disguise Lottie's identity, Albert then pulled out a hatchet and began to mutilate what was left of her face, striking her at least 28 times. When he was satisfied, Albert dumped Lottie's body in a ditch and covered her with snow. 2 weeks later, on February 28th, a man named William Watkins found Lottie's body while out for a walk and alerted police. Albert was, of course, immediately considered a suspect. Lottie's distraught husband told police of Albert's obsession with his wife, and that she had disappeared the same night that she had gone to meet with Albert. After further investigating, police found out that Albert's obsession with Lottie went deeper than anybody knew. They learned that Albert had been stalking Lottie throughout her daily life, and when they spoke to Albert's co-workers, they learned that Albert used to speak of Lottie as if she was already his girlfriend. Albert was arrested and charged with the murder of Lottie Adams and was held at the Vaughn Street Jail during the trial, where it only took 4 days to find him guilty. Albert was sentenced to be hanged at the gallows of Vaughn Street Jail on January 23, 1929. However, his execution was not to be. A petition to save him from his impending demise was circulated by the war veterans of Manitoba, asking for clemency. Just 2 days before his scheduled execution, Albert's sentence was commuted to life in prison, which unbelievably, he only served 14 years of. Albert was paroled on June 3rd, 1943, on the belief that he had been successfully rehabilitated. However, it wouldn't be long until Albert fell back into his old habits and killed again.
Yeah, while we were setting up the Ouija board, getting it ready, we lost all power.
Just to that one outlet.
To this one outlet. Batteries running low on that. Everything's dying. Yeah, you had this light on. Nothing.
My phone is still charging on that outlet over there. Still have lights over here.
Nothing
by the entrance.
To this thing. Okay, well, that's weird. And it's interesting because the first thing we did when we got here is realize that none of these lights work in this hotel room. There's bulbs. It's like nothing in this room just wants to work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like maybe something's trying to get our attention away. Like, don't use the Ouija board.
Well, we're gonna do it anyway.
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll set it up. That's weird. So I'll have to use a different light. Like, why? Just
I've never
opening and
seen it do
closing.
that.
So the light stops working, or all the power in this same area stops working, and then the SLS just starts doing that.
Unreal.
It shuts off.
That's fucked up.
Oh, I just made another noise. You know what's crazy? If the battery's dead, why would the power bank still have power to it?
Yeah.
And it's plugged in.
Yeah, because this should be powering the tablet
is,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
It was charging it. And it still has power, that blue light. So the battery can't be dying. But it's like, that has no power either. It's like the power bank doesn't work to power it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no power on this side of the building, or on this side of the room. Well, hopefully that makes for a good Ouija board session then. Or we should.
I think it will be. Albert, why did you kill Lottie?
My left hand is tingling already.
Really?
Yeah, bad.
Is Albert here right now?
Oh, it just went once. Okay, Albert. Now it's time to, tell the truth. Why did you kill Lottie?
A little bit of movement.
You hear that?
Yep.
Came from behind my computer. Is this Albert we're talking to? Oh. Had you been killing homeless people before you killed Lottie?
I bet your mom hated you. That's why she sent you to Canada, right? Is that why you killed Lottie? And then you just hated?
Oh, there it goes off.
Albert?
The hell was that?
I don't know.
Holy fuck. What the hell was that? The hell was that?
I don't know.
Holy fuck. What the hell was that?
Albert, are you in the bathroom?
What was that noise out here too? Holy.
Oh my god. Where was that? Was that on?
Shattered up here, right by where I saw that thing.
Is that where you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it on the SLS peeking around this corner, and it was sitting right here. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me.
Dude, this thing is shattered.
I know.
Yeah, it was like up here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't just fall off.
No, it's a smack, and it was right when you heard that sound right here too.
Dude, this thing is shattered.
I know.
Yeah, it was like up here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't just fall off.
No, it's a smack, and it was right when you heard that sound right here too. Holy fuck! The lights are on! What the fuck?
Are you ready to talk now, Albert?
Oh, if that was on too. Oh man, it's shaking.
Hold on.
Turn the Oculus on.
Scanning.
It's fucking shattered, man.
Albert, was that you that smashed the ball?
When the ball shattered inside the bathroom, the first thing that came to my mind was back to the screen recording of the SLS, and it's just sad that we didn't capture that screen recording of the entity peeking around the shower curtain, because the motion ball was placed just above the toilet in the exact same spot, and we both believe that the entity that smashed the ball was the one we caught on the SLS peeking outside of the bathroom. Whoever this entity is seems dangerous and malevolent, and it's the exact reason why I recorded a video before we ended up going to the Marlborough that I felt sick to my stomach, and I told everybody around me before we got there that I thought something bad was going to happen, and this was just the beginning of what was going to happen.